Hey guys, Sam here and welcome back to our Leeds United Career Mode series, guys. A bit of a different one here today as we only do highlights due to the fact that the last two episodes were a little bit slow paced and there weren't that many games. I was expecting to be in January by next episode, so we're just going to do highlights until next episode, but no highlight sponsors because it is just an episode of highlights and an episode of post-com, so we just jump straight into it away at Barnsley, and we are the first to draw blood, but it did take a while to actually draw blood. In the 57th minute, Saka with a fantastic run. And yeah, if you guys can just leave a like on the video, I guess. I can't really do a proper intro because we're just jumping into games, but like I said, I want to get to January in this episode, and we do get to January in this episode. So maybe this isn't your cup of tea to just do post-com like this and just jump straight into it, but it is going to be very direct, and it is only going to be for this episode. Next episode is January, and we will start off. We do pick up a 1-0 win away at Barnsley, though. Sacco picks himself up 3 points in the voting system, and we play Aston Villa at home next. So it doesn't get much easier, because Aston Villa do have a pretty decent team in FIFA, at least. I'm not sure how they're doing in real life in the Championship, which is actually, like, a lot of the teams that I think are good actually aren't turning out to actually do well in the Championship in real life. But we start off pretty lively. They start off pretty lively as well, but you'll notice with most of these games, it's pretty even. It's pretty even. I am really enjoying world class at the moment in this FIFA. I think it's really, really good. I think the worse off teams are playing worse, and some of the top teams are playing better. So I'm really enjoying the balance at the moment. I've heard people complain that it's too easy. I've heard people just complain in general. Personally, I'm liking it against the computer's system, so I don't know if you guys think the same as me, but I think the AI, it isn't 100% obviously, and I don't think EA will ever get it 100%, but it's as close as we'll probably get in the near future. And in going into the second half here, we do have the 1-0 lead against Aston Villa, courtesy of a pretty heavy deflection. But I also thought we were playing better than Aston Villa in this game. I thought we were probably the better team, and in general, we just seemed to be bombarding them a little bit with the attacking shots. Here, I held that off very, very long to Sacco. And I've actually noticed something with Sacco, and you'll probably see it throughout this episode, that he's just not good with the finesse shot. He loves pushing them out wide, and as a result, he allows Aston Villa to get back into the game. Of course, it's not his fault that we conceded, but not scoring that opportunity, does take away a lot from our position in the game. And I think having a 2-0 win, or 2-0 lead, I should say, going into the last 10 minutes would have eased up the pressure a lot, but Jonathan Kodja makes it 1-1 for Aston Villa, and the pressure was definitely on, and we tried getting back into a Sacco once again, this time putting it in for Lasogga, who was just, it looked like he was speared by the goalkeeper, like a wrestling spear. Looked pretty lethal, actually. He was left laying on the ground, and in the dying embers of the game, Aston Villa just doing anything they can to stay in this game and to get the point. Calvin Phillips had the last laugh with a long shot, and he just blasted it at the centre-back, and we end up drawing at home. So not the best start to the episode, especially in terms of home results. Home games are something that I just want to do very well in. Something good to see, though, is that Saiss was actually the man of the match, and he is starting to perform as we travel to London to play against QPR at Loftus Road. Definitely another team that I think is good in FIFA, maybe not necessarily in real life, but away from home, it's been a little bit difficult. It's been a little bit touch and go. I think we've lost all our games away from home. I don't think we have a home loss yet. So I think so far, away has been a bit touch and go for us, and QPR are definitely worthy opponents. Sacco once again here from the right-hand side goes for a left-handed finesse shot, Corker getting in the way. And again, we start off very even with QPR as they hit the post and nearly getting past us just before the halftime break. Sacco goes on another one of his runs that he loves doing, lays it off for Vernon and Nita, and his finish wasn't any better than what Sacco was doing from the right-hand side. QPR here at the start of the second half started off exactly how they would want to and make it 1-0. I mean, I was completely, and it seems like the entire defensive line was completely left for dead after that little switch of direction by the QPR player. I didn't catch the name of who exactly it was, but just that switch in direction was so impressive, so quick as well. And QPR actually pick up the win here, and we actually get another loss despite having a lot of shots, not many on target. And Saiss once again was our man of the match, back-to-back man of the match performances in terms of our performance anyway. Of course, difficult to be the man of the match in a loss, but yeah, in terms of our match ratings, he was the best player in back-to-back games. He plays this game as well, and a bit of shifting going on in the team. Science coming in, Alioski is back into the team. I had Sacco playing for a little bit there, O'Kane with Vieira. Not really a midfield that I usually run, but I decided to give it a go. Sacco this time getting another chance, and it just seems like these past couple of weeks have not been his last couple of weeks. To be fair, he's putting a lot of shots wide. Houlihan now, who I think is Norwich, is one of Norwich's better players, plays a beautiful ball into. I'm not sure if that's Jacob or Josh Murphy, the twins. One of them's at Newcastle United, I think, now. So I don't know which one that is. If I had to guess, I'll say Jacob. But I have no idea. It could be Josh. I don't even know if Josh is the other one's name. I only know Jacob for sure. But it's a cool finish. It's calm. It's collected. It's the 3 Cs. And you guys know how much I love the 3 Cs. And he goes again for another run. Hits the post this time. Berardi just froze a little bit there. Could have been very dangerous. And Norwich could have potentially gone up 2-0 away. We're at home, of course, here. And Lasoga brings one back. And I was very, very nervous. We're in a very patchy form at the moment. I mean, I don't know what to expect. The first 3 games was a win, a draw, and a loss. So I was definitely very nervous going to this game. Going down 1-0 didn't help us. And fortunately, Lasoga digging us out before the second half started. Fantastic finish on the volley. I've scored some pretty decent goals already, and that's probably not the best one we've scored. I think O'Kane is probably going to take our goal of the season. But that was pretty good from Lasoga. Fantastic effort. Brings it back to 1-1 going into the second half. If we'd gone down 1-0 going into the second half, mentally that probably would have been the best. And Lasoga nearly doubled it up. And the goalkeeper was fantastic. The header probably could have been better in general, but you got to credit the goalkeeper. And speaking of crediting the goalkeeper, Vidvald keeping us in the game. Ailing goes for a bit of a dribble there outside the box. Not sure what he's trying to do, dribbling it inside his own box. As a defender, you never want to do that. And Nelson Oliveira had a beautiful chance to make that 2-1 to Norwich in the dying embers of the game, and he failed. And unfortunately for Norwich, but fortunately for us, we actually escaped with a draw, which is weird to say considering we were at home. Pontus Jansson was the man of the match and picked up 3 votes for the Billy Bremner Award, going into what I think is now another tough game. I really think Aston Villa, QPR, Norwich and Hull City, those 4 games are very, very difficult. The only thing helping us is that we are at home here to Hull City and we do start off well. And we needed a good start because we've been patchy and we need that confidence. And it's Science and it's Jorge, our 6'4" centre-back, that actually gets us up in this game. Fantastic header. He just rises above the rest, doesn't he? I think only Pontus Jansson can rival him for height. And he was right behind him, giving him that maybe a little bit of extra power, extra Pontus Jansson magic, I guess, right behind him. And that gives us confidence. And we tried going for more goals here. Going into the second half, you can see it's pretty late on here. We were playing a little bit more conservative, and Hull were giving us a bit of problems. So we did try shooting from range, and we tried different things, and it was an okay second half, but it wasn't convincing. Definitely wasn't convincing, and right at the end there, Hull City could have brought it back and gotten the draw. Fortunately, they didn't, and we were able to pick up the win, but it definitely could have gone that way, and it's a 1-0 win. Not convincing at all. Despite being at home, was not convincing. So the first 5 games of the episode have been win, draw, loss, draw, win. Like a complete mirror. And it just, you don't know what to expect going to this game away at Burton Albion. Albeit, Burton Albion not to the level of Hull, Norwich, QPR, or Villa. And we do start off very, very well. Very attacking. The pressure was on. I felt like we were running at them, just hunting them down almost to get the ball back. And like not letting it go. We had to have the ball, and that was a beautiful mentality to have. And you can see the first 15 minutes, already 3 very good chances. But Burton Albion were hanging on. And again, a problem I think we've had so far this season is being not able to take our chances. Unfortunately, as I say that, well, no, fortunately, not unfortunately. As I say that, Kmart Roof takes his chances, but I think it's been clinical, the clinical side of our game I think has been the weakest, and it seems to be telling in some of these matches. The other match, we had 13 shots, 2 on target, and we didn't score. So that just proves like how we are really in front of goal, but Kmart Roof makes it 1-0 right before halftime, nearly makes it 2 off kickoff, and right before the half ends, we had a nice stretch of attacking flow here. Sacco once again pushing a shot out wide. I love Sacco. He's been performing well, but unfortunately, some of his shots, his shooting in general, isn't the best. But going into the second half, 1-0 lead, probably should have had more. Connor Chaplin decides to make it more, doubles up our lead. Very, very tidy finish from Connor Chaplin, and I've been finding that he has been slightly more effective off the bench, and I don't know, I don't really want to label him as a super sub just yet, but he has been very, very effective off the bench. And even though Pierre-Michel Lasogga wasn't playing, Connor Chaplin still came off the bench because Kibiki was our starting striker. If you did see the lineup at the beginning of this game, you would have seen that, and I don't know, I just did not feel Connor Chaplin as a starter. I don't know, so far I haven't really been that confident in him in an entire 90 minutes. And Kibiki here, that's a fantastic finish. That is very, very good. In general as well, you can see here, he was really good. He was so good in this game. I was very, very impressed. I was going to pick either him or Grot as the strikers, but I'm very happy I picked him. I'm very happy I picked him. Pierre-Michel Lasogga was very tired. I didn't want to go with Connor Chaplin, so I went with Kibiki up top. We switched from a 4-2-3-1 to a 4-4-2. And when we went to the 4-4-2, I felt much, much better. I don't know, that's something I'm going to have to look to in the future. I don't want to switch systems too much. I'd like to get used to the team and just enjoy the way I play with it, but that is just like dominant. And for most of the game, or nearly most of the game, we were a 4-4-2. So it was, yeah, it was difficult to, you know, kind of see when we started performing well, but you notice every single outfield player there had an above 8 rating. That's every single player. There was not, other than Vidvald, who had nothing to do, there wasn't even one player that slightly underperformed, and I'd like to think that the 4-4-2 actually did help. It's not something that I'm going to go straight to, and it's not something that just one time it works out, so we're going to jump straight to that option to just stick with it, but it's definitely something to think about going in the future, especially when we lose the likes of Pablo Hernandez due to his age, you know, and he plays in the middle. Maybe that is something that we can look at in the future. I'm not sure what you guys think of a 4-4-2 or if you just prefer the 4-2-3-1, but we do go into this game away at Birmingham City. Never an easy game, I don't think. I mean, in real life, Birmingham, I think, are struggling, so I was looking for a win, but away from home, and especially in our patchy form, I didn't know exactly what to expect, but we did come off of a 4-0 win, so I mean, maybe I was silly to think that we were a little bit confident going into this game, but once again, it was just the consistency issues, first of all, but also just the clinical issues. 11 shots, 2 on target, and not able to score. Berardi was the man of the match, and again, a disappointing result. Again, 0-0. Again, we don't score a goal. Well, it hasn't been, you know, too consistent, but so far this episode, and this is our 8th game we're going into against Forest, we've only scored more than 2 goals once. And that was when we beat Burton 4-0 just before. So we're struggling to score multiple goals, and Burton Albion definitely are not the test that we should be going for. And what a way to start this is against Nottingham Forest. That's exactly what we need. Similar to the game against, I believe it was Hull City, I think it was. We do just need that early start to calm the nerves. I feel like if we don't get an early goal, it just never comes. And Connor Chaplin this time starting the game, well done from him. That was a fantastic finish. Can't take anything away from that. I like the little fake shot move that I did with Connor Chaplin. I've done it now twice to score 2 of the goals in this episode. It's a nice just fake shot onto the opposite foot, and it does work out usually for the best. I don't know what happened there. I don't even know how to explain this goal. I thought he was in an offside position. It's obviously come off our player. It's come off the defender as we've slid in. I had to look at it again. Surely he's offside. Surely he is offside when the ball leaves his teammate's foot. Of course, when a defender tackles, sometimes it resets it, but in real life, that would get called for offside. That second goal, however, okay, I can't take anything away from it. That is a fantastic finish from Brereton, or I don't even know how you say that name, but Nottingham Forest all of a sudden back into the game. He shields Pontus Jansson, which is something that you can't say is an easy thing. He just, I don't know, Pontus Jansson just couldn't get around him, didn't even try to get around him, I don't know, but that finish as well is fantastic. You can't take anything away from the second goal, but going into the second half, I was feeling a little hard done by. I thought, how did they get that first goal? It kind of rattled me a little bit, and Nottingham Forest were up 2-1 going into the second half. Fortunately, Sacco this time with his right foot, which is his preferred foot. I should say that most of his misses have been with his left foot, which is his unpreferred foot. Despite being a right midfielder, he's not an inverted striker at all. He is a wide right midfielder who crosses in with his right foot. So finally, with his preferred foot, he does bury that. That's a fantastic finish across goal. Brings it back to 2-2, and I was hoping we would kick on from here. Still plenty of time in the second half, but as you can see, we now go to the 70th minute. it's Brereton once again. He plays it through to Rayner, and I don't know how we've just gotten a hat-trick scored against us. This guy, who is this guy, by the way? I've never heard of Brereton playing for Nottingham Forest, but we go down 3-2 at home, and what has so far, I would say, been the most disappointing defensive performance, especially considering Cooper and Janssen are playing. And this one I would probably not even blame on Cooper or Janssen. I mean, Cooper does step up when I didn't even want him to. Once again, Cooper's positioning is a little bit off, but I think both are to blame there. I don't know what happened there. Sacco nearly makes it 3-3. Nearly. Hits the post, the outside of the post. And this time, honestly, I don't think the clinical end of things was our problem in this game. I thought actually clinical-wise, we weren't too bad. I just thought Nottingham Forest were more clinical. They scored 3 goals from however many shots on target it was. It wasn't many. So I'd say the defensive end actually did disappoint us a little bit in that game. I think that was the letdown of that game. But every other game I would say that we drew or just barely won, I think the clinical end is just not good enough. The only game I felt where we were clinical was Burton Albion, and then the last one at Nottingham Forest, which we ended up losing anyway. So overall, this episode we played 8 games and picked up 3 wins, 3 draws, and 2 losses, which now sees us still in 2nd position. So we haven't dropped the ball too much, I would say. We now have a 1-point lead against Sunderland, and we are 2 points behind Wolves. Brentford in 4th, Sheffield Wednesday in 5th, and Fulham in 6th. Teams that are fighting for the top 6 still include Middlesbrough, QPR, and Derby County, who are all just 1 point away from a top 6 spot. Then you have Ipswich 2 points off and Reading 3 points off. You could probably even add Norwich into that group as well. In terms of the Billy Bremner Award, this is the final public count, guys. Moving into January now, we will keep the rest of the votes hidden. Of course, you guys still see who the man of the match is, and you guys will still be voting for the 2 points in the feature games. However, the rest of the votes will remain hidden until the end of the season, where we will be doing our award ceremony and telling you guys who has won. So before we do close the leaderboard to the public eye, we will look at the top 5 this time, and Sayis, after a couple of man of the match performances, is now on 20 points in 1st, Pierre-Michel Lasogga on 18 points in 2nd, and Calvin Phillips is 3rd with 16 points. Of course, this is including last episode's votes in the feature game of the episode. You guys voted Pierre-Michel Lasogga as your 2-point vote, and then Anita got the extra 1 point. So we have taken those into consideration. So as far as the top 3, that's how it looks. We've also added O'Kane with 15 points and Sacco with 13 points. And I do want to announce before this closes to the public, at the moment, there are 20 different players with points on the board. So that just shows the amount of versatility in this team and the depth that this squad has. The fact that 20 different players have points on the board, guys. I'm sorry if today's episode was a bit muddled or a bit rushed, or if I didn't make much sense, guys, but I just wanted this episode as a catch-up episode. That's all this was. Next episode will be in January. Not sure if we'll be doing too many signings, to be honest with you guys. We don't have much money, and I'm probably just going to save it till next season, where hopefully we're in the top flight of English football in the Premier League. But if you guys did enjoy this, leave a like on the video, guys. Thank you so much if you did watch it all the way through. I know videos like this can be very hard to watch where it's simply just gameplay, but I do appreciate the guys that do go on and enjoy it and watch it. So thank you very much. Keep leaving your sponsor suggestions in the comments below. I definitely will have that for the next episode as well. But that is all for today's episode, guys. Thank you so much for joining me. I hope you did enjoy today's episode. I hope you had a good day. I'll see you guys in the next one very soon. Keep it real.